If you forage a Ganoderma mushroom, known historically as Lingzhi or Reishi, you cannot simply chop it up and sauté it for dinner. As you can tell by its glossy cap, this is a tough, woody polypore, and it carries an intensely bitter taste. It completely lacks the soft gills you would find underneath a standard grocery store mushroom. Instead, it grows out of decaying logs and tree stumps, reproducing by releasing spores through thousands of microscopic pores on its underside. Yet, despite being practically inedible, this specific fungus sat at the absolute pinnacle of traditional Eastern medicine for thousands of years. It was so highly valued that its harvest and use were heavily restricted to the highest levels of royalty, like the Chinese emperors. Ancient medical records document Ganoderma specifically as a rare elixir of life, vitality, and longevity, a status far removed from any common food source. Curious, which leaves us with an interesting problem. We have to figure out if these ancient empires were simply swept up in mystical folklore, or if they had discovered a dense biological mechanism that we are only just now learning how to measure. Because the Ganoderma mushroom is essentially a piece of bitter wood, the human stomach cannot digest it or absorb its nutrients. Historically, extracting its medicinal compounds required boiling the fungus in hot water teas or soaking it in alcohol to create tinctures. Today, clinical researchers have reverse-engineered those ancient brewing techniques through modern laboratory extraction. They have isolated hundreds of specific bioactive compounds hidden inside the mushroom's fruiting body, its spores, and its root-like mycelial network. Out of all those isolated compounds, two heavy hitters drive the majority of the mushroom's physical effects. The first are complex carbohydrates known as polysaccharides, specifically beta-glucans. Polysaccharides act as immunomodulators. Instead of blindly turning your immune system up, Ganoderma trains immune cells to efficiently identify and respond to threats. In oncology, these trained cells help patients maintain high white blood cell counts, mitigating the severe immune-suppressing side effects of conventional treatments. When ancient practitioners documented an increase in overall vitality and longevity, they were describing the downstream effects of this exact cellular defense system. The second major group of compounds isolated by scientists are triterpenes, specifically ganoderic acids. These are the exact molecules responsible for giving the mushroom its famously bitter taste. On a molecular level, triterpenes share an unusual structural anomaly. They closely resemble human steroid hormones. This allows ganoderic acids to bypass biological barriers and soothe the central nervous system. Instead of forceful sedation, it promotes deeper, more rhythmic, slow-wave sleep cycles. While the nervous system rests, these same ganoderic acids work on your metabolic pathways. They physically inhibit the synthesis of cholesterol in the liver and suppress platelet aggregation, keeping blood from clotting unnecessarily, and protects your cardiovascular system. Those ancient texts often spoke of the mushroom's ability to calm the spirit. We now know that they were actually documenting early, precise observations of advanced nervous system and cardiovascular regulation. In contemporary pharmacy, all of these biochemical functions place Ganoderma into a highly specific medical category. It is classified as an adaptogen. An adaptogen is a natural substance that helps the human body handle environmental, physical, and emotional stress. It constantly works to restore your internal baseline, bringing your systems back into homeostasis. The physicians who first utilized this fungus thousands of years ago never had access to microscopes. They couldn't isolate a T cell or map the molecular structure of a triterpene, yet their clinical application of this woody polypore was remarkably precise. Ganoderma is entirely separate from placebo and myth. It is a highly complex, chemically dense botanical that demonstrates how early traditional medicine laid the exact blueprints for modern integrative pharmacology.